Hello everyone, welcome back to AAI Beyond. In this video, we will discuss the storyline of the science fiction film titled The Fix. In this film, humanity lives in a world with toxic air. In this situation, they consume a drug that transforms them into superhumans with terrifying appearances. Before we dive into the plot, I want to remind you that this content contains full spoilers. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Without further ado, let's get straight into the storyline. In the future, the air around the world will become extremely toxic due to the overwhelming amount of electronic waste, surpassing safe limits for human health. People will need to wear protective masks when engaging in outdoor activities. However, given the severe toxicity of the air, simply wearing a mask will not be sufficient to ensure safety. As a solution, a company named 8era will develop a medication that must be taken to allow humans to breathe safely. The medication was then named 8era, and now 8era has begun to actively promote it through advertisements. After that, we are introduced to the main character named Eller, who is an advertising model for IRM. On the other hand, there are two other important characters named Tuli and Gina. It turns out that Tuli is Eller's boyfriend, while Gina is Eller's best friend. As they prepare to throw a party, Tuli reveals his Curian medication, which is called Blue. Although he is unaware of Blue's function, Tuli decides to bring it along because it is rumored to be suitable for partying. Meanwhile, there is another important character named Eric. To talk about Eric's profile, he is a scientist at 8era who serves as the head of research and the creator of IRM. After a while, they finally arrive at the party located at Tuli's house, where a conflict arises when Eller accidentally sees Gina getting close to Tuli during their argument. Gina admits that she acted this way because she believes Eller is just playing with Tuli to avoid a bigger confrontation. Tuli ultimately leaves the room, accidentally leaving behind the blue medication. Upon discovering the drug, Eller immediately takes a full dose to vent her emotions. A few minutes later, Eller suddenly feels something strange happening in her body and eventually loses consciousness. In the midst of this situation, the dealer of blue, named Solomon, unexpectedly approaches Tuli with his gang. Solomon demands that Tuli return the blue, as the medication actually belongs to him. To make a long story short, Tuli eventually takes Solomon to where Eller is, knowing that she has consumed the blue. However, upon arriving at the location, they find that she has suddenly disappeared. Feeling deceived by Tuli, Solomon then launches an attack and accidentally shoots Tuli. In order to avoid trouble, Solomon and his gang prepare to flee. Once Tuli is able to get back on his feet, he discovers Eller hiding in the same location. Eller then realizes that she now possesses physical strength beyond that of a normal human due to the effects of taking a full dose of blue. Shortly after, Solomon's gang hears Tuli trying to escape, prompting them to chase after him again. In the midst of his struggle, Tuli falls from the roof of their house, resulting in his death. Witnessing this incident, Gina believes that Tuli fell because he was pushed by Eller, when in fact, Eller had tried to reach for Tuli before he ultimately fell while still attempting to escape from Solomon's pursuit. During this chaos, Eller loses consciousness and is eventually rescued by a man named Bree. While hiding Eller in his house, Bree attempts to assault her while she is still unconscious. Once Eller regains consciousness, she immediately attacks Bree, injuring him, and then escapes out of fear. Not long after, Eller realizes that the attack she experienced was caused by thorns that suddenly grew on her elbow area. She then concludes that this terrifying condition is a side effect of consuming blue. Following this, Eller tries to find a safe place and accidentally encounters Gina amidst their ongoing conflict. Out of sympathy, Gina allows Eller to hide in her house. During their conversation, Eller clarifies that she did not push Tuli, leading Gina to learn that Tuli died from a single vehicle accident. Now, Gina feels afraid of Eller due to her superhuman strength, which makes her worry about what might happen if Eller were to lose control. Gina even begins to see Eller as a monster because spots resembling rashes have appeared on her body. After some time, Eller goes to meet a stranger who promised to help restore her condition. Upon arriving at the meeting location, she is instead subdued and captured by the man. Eller then wakes up in a house, bound and restrained. Using the thorns on her body, she manages to free herself. Shortly after, Eller confronts the owner of the house, who turns out to be Solomon. As Eller prepares to confront Solomon, a fully armed squad suddenly arrives at the location. For some reason, the troops end up capturing both Eller and Solomon, placing them in adjacent cells. While being held, Eller discovers that her ear suddenly detaches and is replaced by a new ear that is covered in thorns. Not long after, Eller learns that Solomon is actually the creator of blue. Solomon then admits that he developed blue to help those who did not have access to IRM. Shortly after, Eric arrives at the same location, revealing that the troops were his subordinates. It turns out that Eric was able to detect the changes in Eller's body thanks to reports from Brian, who has been working for him all along. Eller then decides to accompany Eric to the 8-era building, as the scientist promises to address her condition. Upon arriving at the laboratory, Eric conducts tests on her body and discovers that Eller has undergone genetic mutations due to consuming a full dose of blue. This mutation is what has granted her superhuman strength and physical changes. As a result, Eric considers Eller's existence to be extremely valuable, as she is the first human to become immune. At the end of their conversation, Eric successfully persuades Eller to undergo a special test that he claims has the potential to restore her body. When the test begins, she is isolated in a special room that prevents her from hearing any sounds from outside. While preparing for the test, Eric contacts a high-ranking 8-era official named Sherman. In their communication, Eric reveals that the purpose of this test is actually to replicate the mutation present in Eller's body. To facilitate the process of replicating the mutation, Eric plans to use Eller's body as the subject of the experiment for as long as necessary. Unexpectedly, Eller's superhuman strength allows her to hear all of Eric's explanations to Sherman. As a result, she realizes that she will be used as a test subject and will no longer be able to live freely. In an effort to stop Eric, she ultimately sprays a sedative gas that successfully renders Eller unconscious. A few hours later, two scientists examine Eller, who is restrained on her bed. Eller then launches a surprise attack and successfully escapes. Armed with the information from the scientists, she sets out to find Solomon's holding area. Along the way, she manages to subdue a security guard using her strength. Soon after, she finally finds Solomon. Noticing the changes in his body, Solomon claims that these alterations are merely side effects of using blue. At that moment, Eller becomes furious, as she views these changes as a serious issue that threatens her beauty. After successfully calming Eller, Solomon takes her to a location within the 8-era building. Upon reaching their destination, Solomon reveals that the raw material for blue is extracted from a dragonfly species that is only found in South Africa. This dragonfly is known to be extinct due to the harmful actions of 8-era. As a solution, Eric aims to obtain the formula for blue or replicate the mutation so that he can create an unlimited supply of a new version of IRM, which would grant immunity to humans. Solomon admits that he refuses to give the formula for blue to Eric because it would likely be used to create a commercial product. Instead, Solomon plans to distribute blue for free to everyone through his collaboration with Lazarus. After that, Solomon attempts to escape again with the help of his associate, Spider, who has successfully infiltrated the building. Not long after, Ella manages to capture Eric's son, Max, in front of Eric. She pretends that she will kill Max if she is not allowed to leave, but Eric realizes that Eller would never harm Max, which gives him the courage to attack. Eller ultimately releases Max and immediately tries to escape to catch up with Solomon. In short, Eller and Solomon manage to exit the 8-era building with Spider, but their vehicle skids due to gunfire from 8th-era troops assigned to capture them alive. Spider then manages to escape after subduing the soldier who was about to shoot him. Following that, Eller and Solomon stop at a location that is about to be approached by 8th-era troops. At this moment, Solomon plans to surrender in order to create an opportunity for escape. Before they part ways, Solomon reveals that the formula for blue actually belongs to Lazarus. Shortly thereafter, Eric and his troops arrive at the location. Having lost track of Eller, Eric ultimately captures Solomon and orders him to create a new version of IRM that has effects similar to blue. As time goes on, Eller's body undergoes mutations, granting her a pair of wings that allow her to fly. After learning that tens of millions of people have died due to exposure to toxic air, Eller, who had been hiding, finally decides to meet Lazarus. It turns out that Lazarus is actually Eric's associate, whose real name is Angela. Eller's decision to meet Lazarus signifies that she is ready to use her body to mass-produce blue so that humanity can gain immunity against toxic air in the future. The film then concludes. So, that's it, guys. That's the overall plot of the movie The Fix, released in 2024. The lesson we can take from this film is the importance of reducing electronic waste that could endanger humanity in the future. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time. Bye, guys.